Hey game makers! So this video, just as a quick early note, isn't going to be about games or anything like that. Given I was sick most of the month and had furnace issues and I didn't get as much done as I wanted, so I figure when I record the devlog I'll probably have a little extra time. So for this video, I actually wanted to take a second and talk about vision loss. Now, if you've seen any of my live videos, not really live, but like this, where it's unscripted and I'm just kind of talking in front of a screen, you'll have probably noticed I say things like, "I'm so blind, I did not see that." Like, every is in all of them, I swear. Now, no, I'm clearly not 100% blind, I can still function, but, wow, there's like a bunch of sirens outside. And it occurred to me that I've never actually talked about my vision issues. So earlier today, I actually had an appointment with my specialist because my eyes have been deteriorating over the past few months, which is not something I should be saying in this happy, high-pitched voice, but, fun stuff. So given that I now have a little more information on what's been happening with my eyes, I thought I'd do a video on it. Now, quick little disclaimer, this isn't a pity me video because I have eye problems, and I know there are people with a lot worse vision issues and just life issues in general, and I want to give you all hugs. I do. I just want to reach through the screen and just give you a hug and just make it all better. So let this video be a collective, sometimes things suck and that's okay, I guess. Much love. Anyway, now I actually have an eye disease, a hereditary degenerative sort of eye disease. I'm gonna get into that a bit later. But what my appointment this time was about was when I went to see my last eye person to see if I could get new glasses. They actually found cataracts in both my eyes. Now, if you don't know what cataracts is, it's something you generally associate with the older generation, so the fact that I have it in my 20-somethings is super exciting. It can still happen, and the fact that I have an eye disease already makes it more likely to develop cataracts. Now, what cataracts is in simplest terms, normal people see this, and people with cataracts see this. It's kind of like this filter over your eyes. Some people have it differently depending on how bad their cataracts is or like where specifically it is. Now my eyes aren't quite this bad yet. Likely I've only had them for like a few months at this point. Well, shoot, maybe closer to a year at this point. Can't remember when I actually went to see my doctor and they found them. Anyway, so it's been a progressive thing with those. So this kind of is like this cloudy filter, and it just makes things so great. It kind of feels, at least for my eyes, like there's a glow filter on everything, which is ironically why I put a glow filter on my graphics in my game, because it just felt applicable. I don't know, but it's like all of the light things just want to shine extra much, and it's just not. It's just hard to look at, and along with this cataract stuff, I've also got my eye disease's symptoms, which are a long list of symptoms. Going on to what my eye disease actually is, it's something called cone rod dystrophy, and I actually asked my doctor to give me like a concise explanation of what it is, and I was hoping I could kind of just rephrase that here. But he went like full college lecture on me, and it was like, oh yes, you know, the cells and the proteins are toxic, and I was just like, okay, get to the point. Nice guy though. Funny thing, I actually had more questions I wanted to ask him, but the poor guy was in like such a hurry, so he just kind of got his books and was like inching towards the door, and I'm like, I should probably stop asking questions. Okay, you can go. In any case, what cone rod dystrophy is in terms of like symptoms is you got this disease that kind of deteriorates your eyes over time, so your vision deteriorates over time. To the point where most kind of like, well, most adults at some point or another become legally blind, which doesn't mean you can't see at all, but it means it's unsafe to like drive and things, which is why I can't drive. So the symptoms for cone rod dystrophy actually are like progressive. You have some of them when you're young, and obviously it varies between people. And there are, 30 different kinds of this, so I don't know what specifically mine is. Trying to get answers out of doctors is like trying to read doctor prescriptions. It just doesn't happen. But given that there's like this long list of symptoms, for me, I wasn't too bad growing up. I actually got a lot of sight aid stuff. I got like in school the big blown up printouts and like dark lined paper and black pens. I liked the black pens and the dark paper was okay. But having your teacher just like go and photocopy you massive sheets of like an assignment, it's not necessary. It's a progressive thing. Your eyes aren't that bad when you're young. Like they have issues, but just not that bad. Don't ostracize this one kid just because they have poor eyesight. Oh my gosh. There was nothing more isolating than that. No, okay, enough digressing. So, this is why I prefer doing scripts. I actually know what I'm talking about when I'm doing scripted stuff. I'll think about it beforehand. This, I don't even have a list going, I'm just talking. Okay, enough digressing. So, it's only really been in the last few years where I've really started to notice a massive difference in my sight. I've always had things like night blindness, I've always had color blindness, I've always had to some extent light sensitivity. And with the cataracts, it's just been like severe. Like I can't leave the house without wearing a hat and sunglasses. It's just too bright all the time. And because of the light sensitivity and the night blindness, it's like I can't go out during the day without like, you know, the glasses and stuff. And I can't go out at night because, you know, you're walking along with your friend and you walk into this sign that's in the middle of the sidewalk and they're all like, I thought you saw that. And I'm like, why would I see that? Oh, it's terrible. Literally that story has happened on numerous occasions. So what I've been noticing more recently, recently being like the last year or so, is I've actually had peripheral vision decrease as well. So like, I can't see to the sides as much. I pretty much have to look straight ahead and like, just everything to the sides just doesn't exist. I have such a low field of vision right now. Actually, when I was at my appointment, I had to take something called a field vision test or something. And it's essentially this machine that you're all nicely strapped up to, and they like flash lights at you, and they give you this button that you're supposed to click when you see the lights. So I'm sitting there, and she tells me, the lady, you know, like, okay, well, there will be flashes of different intensity, and when you see them, click the button, and a good time to blink, because you're not supposed to blink during this, is after you see the light, because obviously it won't, like, immediately blink another one. So I'm sitting there, you know, trying to keep my eyes open, and I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, why aren't there any lights? So she tells me again, like, okay, yeah, just click the button when you see the lights, and I'm like, I don't see any lights. I just, like, had this, like, I felt so dumb, and I know it's like an eyesight thing, obviously, that's what they're testing for, but it's just like, why can't I say this? So, we did a second phase of that, where, I didn't have the magnifier thing on, I was just looking at it, and she gave me the same directions, and it's like, I'm still not seeing anything, so we tried my other eye, and no, I did not see anything that entire time. It was a good 15 minutes where I was staring at nothing. Or at least that's how it felt. Obviously, there were lights flashing that I couldn't see. But I just felt so bad after that. And when I talked to my doctor about it, he's like, so, your field vision test wasn't quite what I expected. And I'm like, yeah, me too, bro! Oh, it was terrible. I felt so bad. Like, I had never flunked something so easy as to not see a flashing light. It's just so bad. I just felt so, like, uncomfortable about it. So I've sort of, talked about, night blindness and light sensitivity, so, that's why I use dark themes on my computer, too, is because I just, my eyes hurt when I look at white, like, bright, just in your face, like, everything that is Windows 10. Windows 7 I found not quite as bad, but I just feel like Windows 10 just brought on all of the white, and I just dark theme for the win. And with night blindness, I honestly, I can't go outside at night. I can't see anything. When people told me that nighttime was like how it looks in movies, where it's like blue or dark, and you know everything's kind of lit up, and you can see the stars. I've never seen stars. I can't see them. But I was just flabbergasted. I was like, the world isn't just black at night? Like, really? You can see things outside? Actually, that's kind of why in my games, caves and night areas are overly dark. I know some people have complained about that, but that's honest to goodness how I see night, and it doesn't feel real to me if it's just too light. To me, it has to be super dark, or it doesn't feel right, even if it's hard to see. Because it is hard for me to see. Just realistic to me, and I hate it too. But I can't, like, I don't know, it boggles my mind why I can't, but it's just silly. So when I go out at night or have like family events involving campfires, I literally have to like stick to my chair, or else I'm just gonna like get lost in the backyard. I bring my phone around with me and have it's like a camera flash app that just keeps the flash on the entire time, Torch I think, for Android. But I always dread going to like family functions because we always go home late, right? And I can't see. I literally said literally a lot now. Better than basically, I guess. I have to cling to people just because I feel like I'm gonna fall and walk into something, which admittedly I will. And the worst part is no one really understands. Like, they see you, yeah, you're wearing glasses, but everyone wears glasses now, and that's fine, but it's like, no one really, unless you obviously have night blindness or something like that, no one really understands what it's like, because it is completely black outside. Like, I can't, go to your thing at 9 at night because I won't be able to go home. I wouldn't be able to see. Or when you're at like someone's house and they turn all the lights off and it's like, whoa. I know we're watching this movie, but can we just keep that one light on over there so, I can see at all? And I hate that, but it's just like how it has to be, and that sucks. And like I said, there are a lot of other ailments in life that are a lot worse than this. This is just me kind of, I don't know, explaining what it's kind of like for me. Another big one that really interferes with my lice, my lice? I hope not my life. Ew, lice. Interferes with my life is actually, colorblindness. Growing up, it wasn't much of a big deal. It meant that I couldn't see half the colors on a chalkboard, so when a teacher would write in, like, purple or green, I'd just be like, what? There's no words there? What are you doing? That must be magic. That's like invisible ink, right? So, because of that, I always had to be placed at, like, the front of the class. But besides that, it wasn't, like, a huge deal. But as I got into art stuff, it really became an issue, because I don't see as many, I guess, colors as the average person does. And I know there are lots of forms of colorblindness. I don't honestly know specifically what one I have. I've taken tests online, but I can't confirm that because, my doctor really wanted to get to his next patient. So I didn't have time to go over that with him. But, essentially, it's like I don't see as many colors, and I don't register as many colors in my vision. Another thing with my disease is I have low contrast vision, which I have another point about after the end of this spiel of stuff. But what that means is when similar looking colors are next to each other, or are next to other things, I don't see them properly. I frequently misregister blues and greens and purples and browns, like just all together. I remember this one time, I was wearing these pink pants, or pink capris, because they're my Akira pants, and I was next to these like dark purple flowers, or red flowers, I don't remember which, or at least what I thought they were. And I start talking to my friend about these, red flowers or purple flowers, and they're like, those are pink? I'm like, what are you talking about? So they're like, yeah, they're the same color as your pants. And I'm like, no! So I stand next to these flowers, and sure enough, like, they're like almost exactly the same color. And I'm just like, stop. Make it stop! And I do that all the time. I'm constantly like, hey, can you go grab me that green shirt? And it's like, you mean the blue one? Yes, I mean the blue one. The blue one that looks green. And it's not just like, it's like all colors, which is something that really affects my art, getting back to that point, because I specifically go out of my way to use really saturated colors, because they're the ones that appeal to my eye. I look at them and my eyes get a load of, whoa my gosh, there's color there! And I don't get that from like most illustrations and stuff. My eyes just don't react. And I know a lot of people hate the oversaturatedness and the lack of complete use of color theory, let's say. But I honestly, I'll watch tutorials on like art and color theory, and I can't relate to them. I know a lot of, or at the very least, I'm sure there are a lot of people with colorblindness that can overcome that and be all like, oh yeah, I'm an amazing artist and stuff. But like, I don't, and I'd love to be one of those people that could just like, get past their disability and just like, do amazing things and stuff. And I'm trying my best to be that for myself. Like, I want to do the best I can. This eyesight is the reason that I push myself, that I want to get as much done as I can, because there is a very, very real possibility I'm gonna be blind in like, I don't know, 20 years? I'm gonna be next to blind sooner than that if my brother's anything to go by. My brother, he has the same eye disease I do, and he is 12 years my senior. That means I've spent my whole life looking at him and watching his and watching his vision just degrade over time. And yes, he can still function in society, but just personally, from observing him, I can see how it's affecting him. I can see that he can't see. It's ironic, as that is to say. And I know if my eyes reach that level of deterioration that his have, I will not be able to do this. It'd be impossible. 100%. I would not be able to, at the very least, work to the level that I'm at right now. Even now, I struggle with being able to actually see what I'm doing. That's why I tend to miss, like, little things. There was, like, this extra random line in Parallels, and someone sent me a screenshot, like, why is this here? And I'm like, 'cause I didn't see it. It's like, that happens all the time, and I just miss things, no matter how much I go over a picture. It's why my line work is kind of shabby sometimes. Or why some of my details just aren't, like, perfect. I don't see them, I don't notice them, my eyes just do not register that they're there all the time. But that's why I'm not worried about perfection. That's why I need to just be the best that I can at this time. It's like, I've always felt that I'm on this time frame just from watching my brother all my life and his eye problems. Now, I will completely say I don't, like, my eyes at this moment are not nearly as bad as his. His are far beyond worse. And I'm also in a lot different situation than he is. I've, from watching him, been able to take steps to prevent my eyes from getting as bad. Or at least from not progressing as quickly to deteriorating. I've used dark themes for a long time now. A lot earlier than he would have. I can take steps to not destroying my eyes via sunlight. And I have other environmental factors that are just overall better. Like, I don't live in smoke or anything like that. Which apparently, from what I read on the internet, because I can't get any actual information from my doctors about this, is a kind of progressor to it, but like what isn't, right? But to me, the point I think I was trying to make is, to me, there's always been this sort of looming, you're going to be blind one day. And whether or not it actually happens, it's still been this, like, driving force. I've never felt like I had time to just hem and haw around. I've gotta be doing something. I've gotta do whatever I can. Even if it's not the best. Like, I always try my best on everything I do. And sometimes, yeah, I fall short, but that's life. It happens. I can only put so much effort into something before it just ends up backfiring on me. But just that looming thought of, like, what would I do if I went blind? Completely, or more or less completely blind, like, not being able to do art things or make games. And I know there are, lots of people that can still do stuff like that when they're pretty much blind. I don't know how. My gosh, that'd be so amazing. But, like, I don't know if I could just, like, I don't know, I don't think I could, like, just say, I couldn't draw if I was blind, and I couldn't, like, I suppose I could write stories via dialogue and narration, but as far as, like, making them and seeing them and, making them come alive to me, I don't think I could do that blind. I just don't think it'd be possible for me. Another thing to quickly note, because I don't know if I've said this genetic degenerative eye thing, there's no treatment for it. There are things you can do, like I said, like with the lack of sun and the dark themes to help slow the progression of deterioration down, but it's not really gonna stop. And the thing about the cataracts the thing about the cataracts is that's another progressive thing that's going to probably, in some cases, I don't know the statistics really, but it could get worse to the point where pretty much all of your vision is cloudy. Now at this time, like I said, it's not as affecting me because it's still, like, early, all things considered, but because of my pre-existing eye condition, it's not really the best idea to even get surgery, because what you can do is actually get the lens in your eye replaced with an artificial one, thus getting rid of the kind of foggy look of your sight. But from what my doctor was saying, with the lens that they'll give you, it lowers the contrast of your vision, which with my eyes already, I've already got bad contrast vision. So that would just make it worse. So we're here talking, and it's like, yeah, this is probably not the best thing to do. But that's, like, the only real option. So it's either, have low contrast vision or have low contrast vision. Like, there's no winning here. I guess one last symptom I think would be fun to talk about. Ironic fun. Would actually be the peripheral vision, which is a rather new one. Now my brother, oh yeah, I've also got double vision. Not quite as bad. I only really notice it when my glasses are off, or if I'm looking at something that's starkly contrast white and black. Actually, since Deltarune just came out, I'll mention this. Well, it came out last month, but so the text, because it's like pure white on black, my eyes were just going haywire. I don't remember this with Undertale, so maybe it's a cataract thing, but oh my gosh, they just looked like they were glowing, and there were, like, multiple copies of the dialogue, just because my eyes were just, like, freaking out, because it was just so stark contrast, and I had a hard time playing that. I loved the game, just throw that out there, or the chapter, but, oh my gosh, that was just so hard to see. So for me, stark black and white doesn't really work. Black and kind of dark gray is a better alternative for me. That's another thing. Games make it so hard to play because I just can't see them anymore. I really have to play specific types of games that, like, don't require too much visual input on my part nowadays, and it really sucks because it really limits the stuff I can actually enjoy. That aside though, peripheral vision. Now, I've gotten to the point with just my overall bad eyesight where I have to pretty much sit like an inch away from my monitor to be able to see anything. When I do RPG Maker stuff, I have to use the magnifier now on my computer. Windows magnifier thing, it magnifies the screen. Just to do anything in RPG Maker, I physically can't see it. It's either that or completely raise my, lower, I believe, the resolution and just make everything like super huge. My issue is when recording videos, that just looks ridiculous. And magnifier doesn't actually record right. It might now, but last time I tried, it like tried to give you 2 copies of the mouse. I don't know why they like the mouse cursor. It was just the weirdest thing. But anyway, because of that kind of stuff, it kind of makes me not want to, well, not really not want to, because I still want to, but it makes it really hard to record, like, tutorial stuff now, just because I don't really have a good way of, like, seeing what I'm doing without, like, being, like, right up close to my screen. And I have the same problem doing, Let's Plays, and it really sucks. I feel like I'm just ranting. I don't want it to come across like that. I'm not ranting, okay? I'm really not trying to. I just kind of got rambling, but with Let's Playing games, it's the same sort of thing, especially with like RPG Maker games where you're not really sure what to expect. I mean, some might take into consideration the visually impaired, and I'm not saying you should. In fact, I like, you have good eyes, what do you care if I can see your game? But, mainstream titles too, same story. They can't accommodate everyone, and that's fine, they shouldn't have to. But it's hard because I'll easily, and I see this in my brother's videos too, if you've ever watched him, you might have noticed this, not anything negative towards him, I have the same problem. You miss things, or you misread things, and then it's like, I don't know what to do, and it's just terrible. You don't have that as much when you're playing on your own because you can concentrate more on the text, but when you're trying to keep up the talking and like reading text, it's like, oh, I can't see anything. And then you just miss stuff off the corners, it's awful. Now, something I thought, a while ago, what I could do is get a bigger monitor. A couple of reasons why I can't, but the biggest one is it doesn't actually help. The bigger monitor just gives you more monitor to lose off the side of your vision. Same thing I learned from my brother, he kind of did that. He used to have a TV as his monitor and kept losing everything, essentially on it, so that's not really, there's no good answer here. In any case, that's kind of just a quick overview on my eye disease. You can read up more on it if you're at all interested or have the same thing, just by Googling. Goodle. I have a niece that, she's like 4, and they have an OK Google thing, so she always just says "Ote Doodle," and it's just the cutest thing. Anyway, so, yeah, I've never really talked about my eye disease with you guys. I don't really talk much about myself, for no real reason. I just feel like I do tutorials and talk about video game stuff. I don't, you don't want to know me, right? I'm just the voice from the internet who loves everyone, or something like that. And wants you to make games because game making is fun. But I don't know. It's just like a thing that I feel like I should sort of explain a bit, just because it is a big part of my life. Maybe not as much as other people with more like prominent disabilities. For not so much now because it is a lot more noticeable, but for the longest time, it's like I didn't know how bad my eyes were until other people pointed things out that I missed, and it bothers me. And my eyes aren't very quick. My eyes are very slow. Like, I have decent reaction time when I'm not relying on my eyes, and I think really fast, but when it comes to actually visually noticing things, I don't. I remember looking through code trying to fix something, and I had to call Sally and Aoife over and be like, help. So, they're like, fix this line that says this, and I'm like, hold on, let me find it. He's like, it's right there, and I'm like, I know, just give me 5 minutes to find it. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, I hate that so much. Communicate, it's just one of those little frustrating things. It's like, I wish I could see that fast. Or like, for me, and I think a lot of people can relate to this, even if they aren't, you know, visually impaired in any sense. But it's still something that bothers me. You'll spend like all day cleaning your house, making it spotless. It's just perfect. You're so proud. And then, you know, maybe your mom comes to visit and then wants to point out all the, you know, kitty fluff balls and dust that you missed, and it's just like, it's like, I can't see it. I did my best. Be proud. It's sad, but that's something that also drives me nuts about sight. It's a really challenging thing to kind of explain and like deal with. Like, I don't really know how to like feel towards it, I guess, because you don't really realize how bad your eyes are until you realize that everyone else's are just so much better than yours, by them just noticing things, or, you know, you walking into signs and them being like, I thought you saw it. And the only people who can really kind of relate are other people with the same issue. So if you, honestly, if you have eyesight impairments or any sort of impairment, maybe you're like hearing impaired to some extent. I mean, I assume you aren't fully deaf because you're still watching this video, but what do I know? My dad's deaf. He watches my videos. I don't know why. But, like, seriously, go down in the comments right now and tell me a funny story about your issues. Just something lighthearted, like, you know, funny, just some, not necessarily like humorous, but just something maybe that aggravates you, that's just like, grrr, you know? Something that just like drives you mental, that no one really understands about your ailment. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be like hearing your eyes or anything, just anything. Maybe you get chronic headaches. Tell me how people just don't understand. Or it's just go, let it all out. Because that's kind of just what this video is. I still have to record the devlog after this, so I'm hoping my throat holds up. Oh my gosh. In any case, I hope that kind of gives you a little insight onto my eye issue. Not that any of you asked or cared, but I just felt like sharing. I'm not really sure how to end this, so I'm just gonna go with, thanks for watching. Videos for December might be a little weird. I honestly, it's gonna be busy. December is always just crazy busy with the holidays and stuff, so I hope you all enjoy your holidays. You might not see me at the end of December for a devlog. I'm not sure at this point. It really, really depends on a lot. So thank you very much for watching again. Thank you very, very much for watching me rant about this and that. It means a lot to me to just be able to talk to you guys about this.
So yeah, that's all, and I'll see you later.
Oh, look, my voice is going all over the place.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later, gamers.